Ignition podcast. Here we seek to discuss issues pertaining to business, education, personal development, and also general ideas on how we can improve ourselves and become better than who we were yesterday.
I think one thing that will help the youth is that they should learn that in the end, everything will work out.
Yeah.
What's important is that they should try.
Yeah.
At least when you try, actually you should do.
You should do.
Because if you try, you fail.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship will try to kill you before you even start. So all you need to do is you need to have courage.
Courage and not be discouraged.
You should not be discouraged because people, I always tell people there are three things in life that happens.
Yeah.
People, they will laugh at you, they will admire you, and they will respect.
They will respect you, yeah.
So at some point in time, people, they don't have your vision.
Yeah.
You might be selling vegetables and tomatoes, right? People, they're just seeing you on a corner selling tomatoes and vegetables.
But they don't understand your vision where you
to become
see yourself.
Food lovers.
Yeah.
You're gonna have run the biggest fruit and veg in the whole country. But that cannot just happen overnight. And that I always want to tell people in business, there are lines that are called aorta or pulmonary artery.
Yeah.
So these are lines that gives you, probably you have your client.
Yeah.
That gives you money.
Yeah.
That's your own secret to yourself.
Yeah.
Be the brand yourself so that people, they'll admire you and never ever give up.
To welcome you to the Ignition podcast. Here we seek to discuss issues pertaining to business, education, personal development, and also general ideas on how we can improve ourselves and become better than who we were yesterday. Today we're very much excited to have a thought leader, a business person, and also a founder of one of the great companies here in Zimbabwe, Vorx Prints, Royal Denhere. We'd love to welcome you to the Ignition podcast.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. We're excited to have you.
Yeah,
Find time out of your busy schedule to come and be with us and just to inspire others out there.
Sure. We have to sacrifice.
Definitely.
Thank you for inviting me to this show.
No, you're welcome. So, Royal, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe your upbringing, growing up? How was life, and what then inspired you later on to then get into business, or to start or to co-found your own company?
So I'm Royal Denhere.
Okay.
I was born in a family of 5.
Okay.
I'm the second born, and
so you're one of the elder brothers.
yeah. So I grew up in Vorx, born and raised there. My parents, my mother and my father. Then up to the age of Form 4, that's when I first lost my mother.
Okay.
That was in, I think, 2006.
Okay, you were still young.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Then I lost my father in 2009. Yeah, that's how I grew up. But after finishing school, the time that we finished my Form 4, that's when we started to figure out what exactly should I do. And
in life,
so in those moments, that's when I lost my parents, and automatically we had to make sure that we find ourselves doing something.
You had to do something.
Yeah. So my biggest dream was I wanted to be in the freight industry.
Okay.
I wanted to do the clearing and forwarding business.
Okay.
Actually,
that's
I wanted
what you were
to.
passionate about.
Yeah, that's what my dad used to do. He was there in the industry for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, he had always told me that after you finish school, you have to come. Then I train you.
Yeah.
Then you go your way.
Your way.
But unfortunately, it didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
God had his own ways.
Yeah.
But growing up in that family, we had my uncle who was a motor mech genius. So he used to ground us every weekends that we go fix cars with him, you know.
Wow. So you owned a business in motor mech, or he worked for a company?
He worked for a company, but he was doing part-time jobs and stuff. So on the other side, I liked motor mech by then.
Yeah.
But because of, you know, growing up and pressures of life, he passed on before we grasped most of the concept. We were still young again.
Wow.
So from there, it just died like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's where your energy and tenacity came from. You know, it's not easy losing parents at a young age, and also coming to the realization that you know, in order to live a life, you need to do something.
Sure.
So I think very sorry about your parents, but we are very inspired also by, you know, the person you've become today through that tough time you experienced, and you know, you managed to persevere and you know, start something which I believe is sustaining a lot of people, I would say.
Yeah. Actually, you know, before you start something, like for myself, I did so many things, you know.
Way before
we thought about this. You know, after the passing on of my dad, we had to take off each other, you know, as a family, brothers. So you had to make sure that you make sure that you find something to put on the table.
Even on the stomach.
Yeah. So from those days, I remember that was in 2008, a year before my dad passed on.
Yeah.
We were already trying to fend because he was sick.
Okay.
So from there, I had a friend of mine. So this friend of mine, he had his cousin.
Yeah.
So his cousin, he used to sell, you know, buns and stuff.
Yeah.
So the time that things got hard, I approached the guy and said, Abra, I want to do this. You know, he said, it's easy. You just find small capital. I think I was supposed to order one tray of about 35 small buns in that tray. And, you know, so I approached him. Then I remember I had no money in that moment in time. So from somewhere, someone came in. He was new to the old school that I used to go. I used to learn by Morgan High.
Morgan High, okay.
Yeah. So, you know, back then things were okay when my parents were around. You know, everything that we wanted
things
to
were
get.
Still going on
Exactly.
Very well.
So, you know, from the time that your parent passed on now, and you are exposed
that
now.
You are exposed, and some of the things you used to have access to, they're no longer easily accessible.
So I started selling buns. I sold buns, I think, for almost a year.
Wow.
So from that, I managed to send myself to, I was by Spaces College.
Yeah.
You know, when you're doing things without guidance.
Guidance at the time.
I was doing 2 courses at the same time. I was doing motor mech.
Wow.
You see, so what happened?
Inspired by your uncle.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I was doing petrol engines and diesel engines at the same time. Rather, I could have just chosen one.
One course and specialized
exactly.
in that one.
So it happened that in those days, you know, it was time of inflation.
Yeah.
I remember that week, the fees, they just skyrocketed. I think 4 times.
Wow.
Than the amount that I was getting at that moment in time. So from there, I just crashed. You know, then I stopped doing that.
Yeah.
Then I had my friend. So my friend's mother had a copy shop.
Yes.
You know, back then we had co-box, we had phone shops.
Yeah, phone shops.
So she would do typesetting and photocopying and stuff.
Yeah.
So most of the time, even back in high school, after school, we would go to her shop with my friend.
Yes.
So my friend was very, very vexed in computers.
Very good with that.
Yeah.
Typing and everything.
Yeah, exactly. So I would go there, would play games on the computers. Sometimes he teaches me how to type and stuff.
Yeah.
So now, we with the responsibilities now. When I was doing this my buns business and stuff, I thought of starting our own printing company.
Okay.
Because by then,
so that was during that time frame.
Yeah.
Okay. When you had that idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So from there, I approached my friend because the mother was no longer operating that shop.
Okay.
They had actually closed because of inflation and stuff.
Which was happening.
Yeah. So I once worked at Spa again. I worked at Spa for about 3 years, I think.
Wow.
Then I stopped. I was just called when I was on leave that the shop is closing.
It's closed. Spa.
Yeah. So we stopped there. That's when I got into this business and stuff of selling buns and stuff, because I wanted to fend for myself.
So before selling the buns, you started working at Spa.
Yeah, I worked at Spa.
After Spa, the contract ended, or
exactly.
it closed down, and then you went to the buns.
Exactly.
Then that's when you developed the idea of getting into the actually starting your own printing.
With my friend.
With your friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I was selling buns, so I ended up selling. I would walk from Fagosi to Kwazana 4 shops every day.
Okay.
So every time I would go to Kwazana, I would sell my buns. I started going to Kwazana with one tray of buns.
One tray. Okay. I think we'll continue from the one tray. This is Royal Denhere, who is the founder, one of the co-founders at Vorx Prints. And he's sharing with us his story and how he managed to overcome a lot of hurdles he faced in order to actually be where he is today. We'll see you in the next segment.
Here we go again. Vorx Prints. You know what it is. Sublimation print, red and white.
It's time to turn the ocean water into ice.
Welcome to this second segment of the Ignition podcast, and we're excited to have you join us in this show. Today we are with Royal Denhere, the founder and director at Vorx Prints. And from the last segment, he's just been taking us through the story, his life story, how he also got to start Vorx Prints. So you were talking about one tray.
Yeah, sure.
You started selling soft buns.
Yeah.
After your job ended at is it Spa?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us more about that experience?
Yeah, so All these things we did them because of the difficulties of life.
Of life, yeah.
We really needed to carry on and to feed ourselves. So that's when I told you that I had to go all the way to Kwazana 4 from Vorx on foot. And there I was comfortable, selling buns in your area where you grew up, where people used to see the other side, that, life was good.
Then all of a sudden, this sudden change.
And in those days, you are just a teenager, probably 1921 there. And, peers, girls and other stuff will be laughing.
Yeah, that stigma.
You're now doing this, It's one of those jobs that people will laugh at you. But sometimes to you, that's everything that you have.
You have, yeah.
So I had to look for a different market. I tried to go to Kwazana. And the day that I went there, my buns, they were all sold.
Wow.
So that's when I discovered that from now onwards, I'm no longer selling in this area that I grew up in. I had to go somewhere.
To a different field.
So I at first I would go with one tray all the way to Kwazana, 4 shops, and sell my buns there. After I come back, I remember before I get Kwazana shops, I would kneel down in those paddocks and pray, say, Heavenly Father, get my buns sold. And the funny thing is that when I would go to Kwazana 4, even the guys that were selling buns, they would rush to buy mine to eat those.
Before they would buy any other ones.
Before they sell theirs. You see? So that's when I started vending. Until I remember I ended up carrying about 15 trays on my head here.
In one day?
Every day.
Every day.
Because people, they loved what I was selling, my buns, the quality, So I would supply the homes and people at the market. I would stretch up to Kwazana 5 on foot.
Wow.
Yeah. So from there, that's when I started to do a course by Lifeline there.
Yes.
I was doing ICDL.
ICDL, okay.
Yeah. I wanted to learn about
technology.
Computers much, because you remember my friend was already...
he was well versed already.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And actually he was doing his course by McMain.
Okay.
So me, I would prefer Lifeline because I was able to pay.
It was a bit affordable also at the same time, but you had the desire. Yeah. So from what I'm seeing, you learned some of your sales skills way back when you were selling buns.
Yeah, even when I was at Spa, if you would come to because I worked in the floor. Okay. I had my own shelf. I was a shelf packer.
Okay.
So even if you'd come to Spa, they knew me.
They knew you.
That when you come, you make sure that when you leave my shelf, the trolley will be packed.
It will be packed.
Yeah, I would sell soups, spices and stuff.
Yeah.
And, I would sell things that I've never tested. And before. I would let people buy those things.
And you make people believe that they need this product.
Exactly. So it was something that was really in me, especially on sales. Yeah. And when you're a vendor, you have to make people believe you. This other time, that's when I thought of doing this printing business with my friend.
Okay.
So I told him I had raised my money.
Okay.
Then I told him, how about if we try this,
Yeah.
I think by then also things were getting worse. That was now in 2010.
Yeah.
That was now in 2010. So because of inflation, if you sell these buns, by the time you reach evening, the profit
will be probably less than how much money you get will be less than how much you actually bought them.
Exactly. Stuff, So I thought I should change this before it gets too bad.
Too bad, yeah.
That's when I approached my friend, and with the little man that we had, we had to look around for a space first.
Okay.
In Vorx, there's a shop by Vorx. It was a Red Rose Saloon.
Okay.
That was in 2010.
You found a small corner where you can
actually it was a small room. There were 2 rooms.
Wow.
Then we took the smallest one. Then I remember I bought some printers, small printers. The Canon
Yeah.
Canon, it was 45 watt.
Okay.
I forgot
the smallest ones.
The smallest ones,
you
which would do photocopy and print.
Yeah.
And a small HP. And my friend, he had a laptop. Then he brought the laptop.
The laptop, and then you just collaborated.
Yeah, exactly. There. That's when we started this printing business. So at first, it was we learned by doing.
By doing.
You know, we learned by
that's
doing.
What I wanted to ask you. How did you then get that technical skill to know?
We learned by doing, because my friend was good at typing and stuff. He knew his things.
Yeah.
And for me, I was just good in sales and marketing.
And
so I remember back then in those days, we would come to town and print some stuff. Our marketing flyers, you know, would come in town and do what we call rise of printing, where you print black and white posters. At $1 you get 100.
100.
And those days we would wake up around 2 a.m. You know, people, they don't want with their jurals in the location. And we would go with flowers and plaster those papers. People's jurals.
Marketing your product.
Exactly, 2 a.m.
Wow.
By the time that people wake up, even when they remove, people would have read some of the stuff.
They'll be now knowing what you guys are doing.
Sure, because some of these things, you know, when you don't have guidance, some of these lessons you learn by breaking your leg. You know, you learn by getting squashed.
So what did you say is the role of career guidance, maybe, to the youth out there? You know, I know for you kind of try to find your own path.
Yeah, because when you look back, you really feel that, you know, it probably feel you had a parent. You would put you in the right channels. You would tell you the dangers of doing whatever we did and the mistakes that we did. Because there are some wrong turns that we did too. Because we did not. We were very ambitious. But you know, sometimes you just need guidance of a parent telling you that no. I tried this way before. This is not good.
This is not good.
Do it the better way. You see, so guidance is really important. And you know, for myself, I encourage people to learn. There's nothing bad about education. It's important because there are some smart things that you learn from education. And there are some cautions that you learn from education. And also even listening to your elders. Some of those things that we do or we did in the past, if they were elders, probably I could
they would have directed you.
I could have been the promax of what I am
of what you are today.
You see, so it's really important. It's really important to have guidance and also to be humble, to be teachable. Exactly.
And be willing to learn at the same time.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much. This is Royal from Vorx Prints, and he's just sharing with us some very important nuggets I believe can be able to help youth out there, can be able to help you if you are seeking to start your business or to grow your business. We'll see you in the next segment.
Looking for top-tier PA systems for your next event? Need high-quality photography, videography, or professional live streaming? We've got you covered. Whether it's a corporate function, wedding, concert, or church service, we deliver crystal clear sound, stunning visuals, and seamless live streaming anywhere in the country. Quality, scalability, reliability. State-of-the-art equipment, experienced professionals, nationwide coverage. Don't settle for less. Elevate your event with our expert services today. Call or WhatsApp us now at +263 786 567 349. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Raw Felix Media. Let's bring your vision to life.
Here we go again. Vorx Prints. You know what it is. Sublimation print. Red and white.
Welcome to the third segment of the Ignition podcast. Today we're very much excited to have Royal Denhere from Vorx Prints joining us, and he's just been sharing with us his story on how he started Vorx Prints, and also we believe all of us, and we hope all of us can be inspired by his story. So, Royal, can you tell us a little bit about how you then bridged that gap from, as you were trying to transition from an idea to then actually starting a business? And probably you can go further and just tell us a bit about your services currently today.
Okay. Yeah. So all I can say is that we started this printing business back in 2010.
2010. That's almost about a decade, eh?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But from there, we were functioning at a small scale.
A small scale, okay.
Yeah. I remember that's when we made a decision with my brother. I was now working with my young brother.
Okay.
We are the directors, both of us.
Yeah.
So we made a move. We wanted to come to work in town.
Okay.
Which was really a difficult thing for us because we knew no one in town.
Yeah.
And it was hard for us
It was a new thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To find a place. And I'm sure the reason why we came to town was honestly we were scared to come to town. It was because of the load shedding.
Okay.
There was a time when the load shedding was just too much.
A challenge, yeah.
And
so
we could not work.
Operate.
We could not work. We tried generators. They would destroy our laptops and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's when we made a move to come to town. That was in 2018 in June.
In June.
We got a place from a friend. We call him Bosta. By then, he was working there. He was doing stationery.
Okay.
Selling stationery.
Okay.
So we got a corner. Then I remember he told us that just come, guys. We'll see
what
about rents and stuff. We had a fixed price that he had given us, but by then we were struggling, and to some extent we could not be able to meet probably paying the bills in time and stuff.
In time and everything, yeah.
So from there we started working. I remember we laughed at ourselves that, bro, are we going to finish even a month here in town?
Here in town.
Because we were barely new.
You were still setting your foot into town and trying to figure out how to navigate.
We had the skills. We were good graphic designers.
Yeah.
Even if you go back to Mfakos, in our small printers, we made sure that we produce quality. That even other people who were doing the same business with us, they would come behind the back of their customers to print some things for us because we maintained quality. Yeah. So we registered our company in 2017.
Yeah.
So for it to operate as a registered company.
Yeah.
When we were in Fabos there, we had our papers, but we were not using them.
You were not skilled up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when we came to town, that's when we started to show our work. Those small customers that came by, they started trusting us with the work that we would
put in.
When we came to town, we were saying, I will do typing and photocopy.
That was what you guys initially wanted to do.
Yeah, we were just saying, at least in town, it's busy.
It's busy. We can get some.
But we had the skills because we would design. So we started designing flyers for people, Kanban profiles. We maintained the quality that we had. Because when we were in Fagos, we had bought a printer that we had reserved, that when we go to town, that's the printer that we'll start
using at the same time.
So that's how we started growing. And you would see that most of our clients, they came through referrals.
Okay.
They came through referrals. We really never advertised.
Wow.
And
so referrals, they play a key role, right?
They
in business.
For sure. Because if you do a good job, when someone sees a good job, they will definitely have confidence in you when
and they will keep referring you to other clients.
So we have our page on Facebook. But when you see the numbers of the people that are following us and the work that we do at workplace. It's even, you'll be surprised.
You'll be surprised.
So where are these jobs coming from? Right? But because of the good work that we
do
put in.
So your mantra basically is Vorx Prints is quality first.
Exactly.
And then I see your tagline, Tozi Nyora Nyora. Where did that come from?
So Tozi Nyora Nyora it happened that after, you know, we would maximize our profits and buy new machines. We are always looking forward to improve ourselves. So we got a deal for branding a small combi from our neighbors. And it's something that we had never done before.
So it was like you were stretching yourselves.
So those are the things that we would see people doing. So it was supposed to be branded the windows only. And we knew no one would finish for us.
For you.
After we done printing, so it was me, Raymond, and my friend Tendekai. We went with the car, then we cleaned the windows, then we branded the windows, and they came out nice.
Wow.
And we were like, wow, it was Nyora.
So that's where it came from, eh?
Yeah.
Your first stretching job.
Sure.
You were a bit afraid, but you did it.
Exactly.
And then
like I always tell you that we learned by doing things, you know. So from there it was Nyora. So any challenge that would come, we just say it was Nyora. So I learned that, you know, my father had a quote that he always told me. He said, Rolling Stones gathers no moss. Meaning that, you know, when you're at a hill, there are some stones when it rains that have this greenish that covers a rock when it rains, right? But that moss doesn't grow over a day.
It takes time,
right? Time to grow. Then we have these small stones that we are at the bottom of the hill. The flat stones, you know, you call them Murungudo in Shona, right? Those are flat stones. You can't use them for anything because they are just plain. But that rock that stood on the hill for a long time, despite the temperatures and heat and everything. It
stood the test of time.
Exactly. So it had the time to give the moss to grow on it. So this is the same way we handled our business, whereby if you know me 10 years back, people who know me 10 years back, me and Tendeka and Ray, they know we were printing, right? And up to now,
you're still in the
we are printing. Now people are actually surprised that how did you guys start? They think probably we got a big loan from somewhere. But it was
just expanded. So I just want to follow through on that. Like I'm seeing consistency. 10 years from now, you started printing, photocopying. And with your Canon printer. But you have remained consistent and you have managed to scale up. From just that small printer to bigger jobs and more creative work you guys are doing. Well, can you comment a little bit about consistency and also just making sure you leave a mark in whatever field you're in?
You know, with life that we're living today, there is a lot of competition to the youth. That, you know, when I get a $20, I have to buy something fancy for myself. And
peer pressure.
So sometimes we are working with in mind to spend the money on things that do not pay.
You're not investing.
You're not investing to what we do.
Want to do.
So for us, it was a principle whereby when we do a big job, the first thing that we make sure are the things that strain us when we're doing our jobs. And it is something that has helped us even to grow. That when we get a small profit, we maximize on buying an asset that will help us will further help in the future. And lessen our burden in doing our work. So you'd see that's how we grew. And actually now we're actually launching a new branch. It's called Vorx Garment, whereby now we have set up for a factory.
You actually create the garments yourself.
Exactly. That's the new project that we are on from 2025. We are now doing this new project. So we go in stages, stage by stage.
One step at a time.
Exactly. And all we need to do is to be humble. We should not live the life that we can't afford.
Yes.
Try to live within your means.
Within your means.
And there's a quote that I love which says, humble yourself like a duca and attack like a lion.
Like a lion.
Exactly. This means that, you know, during with the desire that we have, we are all ambitious, right? But I can't just go and be a lion to some people. I need to humble myself. So that people, they trust me with their brains. They trust me with their work, right? While I get all this much now, then I'm able to buy this big thing so that I'm now living my dream, right? I'm now becoming the giant staff in the printing industry. Why? Because all these toys, they're going to come when the right time.
When the right time comes.
So right now, I will live a minimum lifestyle. So
knowing that I'm investing in the in the future.
So the best way is to run away from the world. Do not do things to be noticed by people. Because at the end of this, very people will laugh at you.
At the same time.
You see? So it's something that I would encourage even the young people that do not live the life that you do not have. Do not imitate.
The life.
Be yourself.
Once
you start small, always think of starting small. I have noticed that so many people, if you notice, they go and get bigger loans to start a business. In 3, 4, 5 months, they are out of.
In most cases, I think probably they wouldn't have had a plan or a business plan on what they want to do exactly.
Sure.
Or they end up pleasing other people. So this is Royal Denhere, who's with us, and is just sharing with us some business nuggets, which I believe, I think, are very important principles in business. Start small, but also live within your means. And in as much as you live within your means, do things one step at a time, and eventually you'll get them. Welcome you to the fourth and last segment of the Ignition podcast. And we seek to just talk things which are relating to business and also entrepreneurship, how we can be successful. And also today we are privileged to have had Royal Denhere from Vorx Prints, who has been sharing us some very important nuggets, which I believe can be able to inspire all of us, you and me, to improve and become better and chase our dreams. So, Royal,
yes.
I don't know, what message of advice do you have for the youth out there, or for entrepreneurs, those who are seeking to get into business and possibly scale up their business eventually?
I think one thing that will help the youth is that they should learn that in the end, everything will work out.
Yeah.
What's important is that they should try.
Yeah.
At least when you try, actually you should do.
You should do.
Because if you try, you fail.
Yeah.
No matter the journey, no matter how the dark days are, because entrepreneurship will try to kill you before you even start. So all you need to do is you need to have courage.
Courage, and not be discouraged.
You should not be discouraged, because people, I always tell people there are 3 things in life that happens. People, they will laugh at you, they will admire you, and they will respect.
They will respect you, yeah.
So at some point in time, people, they don't have your vision.
Your vision, yeah.
You might be selling vegetables and tomatoes, right? People, they're just seeing you on a corner selling tomatoes and vegetables.
But they don't understand your vision where
is
you
to become
see yourself.
Food lovers.
Yeah.
you're gonna run the biggest fruit and veg in the whole country.
The whole country.
But that cannot just happen overnight.
Overnight, yeah.
At least you should have the experience of trading and knowing the type of tomatoes that sells faster, knowing the best market that will help you, and risking it. If it doesn't make you sleep without food, then it's not a dream.
It's not a dream.
It should become where you question yourself that, am I doing the right thing? Right?
Yeah.
But with persistence
and consistency,
definitely eventually things will work out. You just need to be disciplined and to improve and to sharpen yourself in the things that you do.
Yeah. Not also taking away from, like you did mention a little bit about education, that you still need to pursue education.
Exactly.
It's imperative. In as much as you also seek...
and also there's something that I always want to tell people. In business, there are lines that are called aorta, or pulmonary artery.
Yeah.
So these are lines that gives you, probably you have your client, that gives you money.
Yeah.
That's your own secret to yourself. Because in most of the times you see that people don't always like to see people growing, right? They tend to look for where exactly the source. Your source is your private. Never expose it to anyone.
Your aorta.
Your aorta, because it's giving life to your business. So that client, you'll be surprised when you see these big giant clients. Probably he only's got one client and he's serving all these others, but there's only one client that will supply him with all the things that he needs to build their businesses. You see, so a lot of entrepreneurs, once he gets a tender or something, you want to parade it to everyone. And when those big or giant companies notice,
they kick you away.
They will come and, and terminate you from those things. So those are some of the things to protect what you have. And remember, no job is too small. Because that person that is coming to photocopy a sheet for 5 cents,
you don't know where that person
is the same person that will hear about people talking about $1 million job, and because of the smile that you gave that person while you're serving that person,
and they will possibly recommend you.
He will definitely recommend you that I know people who can do this. So never underestimate a customer. When they say a customer is a king, it's something that you need to treasure. Whether you are sad when they come, show them a smiling face.
Smile and treat them right.
Be the brand yourself, so that people will admire you, and never ever give up. And remember to always pray.
Pray always.
Exactly. And it's not everything that will work out. There are some things that you try, and if they don't work out, the principle of work is work. Find another thing, give it your best, and move
forward.
Exactly. And avoid debts. There are countries where debt is money, and there are countries where
debt will actually
ruin you.
It will ruin your reputation and your business all at the same time.
And also teamwork. Remember, when you are running an organization with people, no one is bigger than the company, even yourself, the owner. You are part of the teamwork. This is what we have done even at Vorx Prints. You come, everyone is equal. No one is bigger. We are a team of young, ambitious and energetic young men and women. I'm sure we are growing. And if you come, you would see that there is equality between the men and the women. We're always having a hand. If I offend you, remember, no one is bigger than the company. People, they have partners. That's why you see people, they fall out. Because when you start, there is love. When the business starts to grow, someone thinks it's better than what? So one man can win a trophy, but a team can win a championship.
Can do a lot of things, actually, So I think that's a good culture you guys have inculcated within your company. Teamwork makes the dream work. So that's the message we want to pass to all of you out there. remember that teamwork makes the dream work. If you work together, collaborate, and make sure, as you establish your work ethics or cultures, that everyone, feels part of the dream. I think those are the wise words from the founder and also the director at Vorx Prints. Thank you so much for coming to the show today.
Thank you, my brother.
And I believe many people out there will really learn and also be inspired from your words. So in case people want to get in touch with Vorx Prints, you can find Vorx Prints on social media, Facebook, right?
Yeah, sure.
Instagram.
Prints. It's just Vorx Prints.
In all social media platforms.
Yeah.
Okay, so Vorx Prints, nyora. And just also follow their pages on the link below. We invite you all to also follow The Ignition on YouTube, also on Facebook, and like our page, subscribe, share with friends and family in order for yourself to keep yourself posted on future episodes. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you in the next episode. Out.
Thank you.